The site of Units 1 through 4 of the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant is located at the township of Ōkuma. Especially Ōgawara district in Ōkuma is the center of the revitalization and is also the location of the homes of decontamination workers and employees of TEPCO, but otherwise no one lives there due to the evacuation. The highway shown in the video is accessible to anyone. The maximum radiation dose is 4 microsieverts per hour, but one can pass through the Ōkuma in only a matter of minutes. Ōgawara has a dining center for these employees. The meals are cooked here and delivered to a large dining hall that is on the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant. A resident of Fukushima said, "When we talk about the tragedy of the nuclear accident, we don't even have to speak of the health hazards which haven't even developed. The footage of the intermediate storage facility is enough to convey our grief. I could not stop crying when I thought about how this land, the home of our ancestors, and where many of our own memories were made, will become a nuclear waste disposal. Those sturdy houses and gardens, which managed to survive the tsunami, will still become an intermediate storage facility." Mr. and Mrs. Suzuki, who call this land their home, say that even though our home will one day become an intermediate storage facility, we want to take good care of our house until the very last moment, and they visit often to clean their garden. When I say I won't forget Fukushima, it means that I will not forget about people like the Suzukis. Shown here is the Ukedo district of Namie at twilight, located 4 miles from the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant. Bordering the sea, Ukedo district in Namie township suffered one of the worst tsunami damages in Fukushima prefecture. Fortunately, Ukedo is going to have its evacuation order lifted in April 2017. Recovery efforts at removing rubble and reconstructing the fishing port are underway. However, the inevitability of having to live alongside the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant, which you can see in the background, becomes more of a reality every day. Namie is a horizontally stretched town that spans the Abukuma Highlands and the Pacific Ocean, an 18 to 19-mile distance. The air radiation dose by the coast is 0.1 to 0.2 microsieverts per hour, and the dose increases as one walks towards the highlands. The entire area from the flatlands, the center of town, to the highlands is a difficult-to-return zone. The town's population was about 20,000 before the accident, but almost every resident has evacuated by now. The 350 houses situated on the coastal area were flattened by the tsunami. Deaths and missing totaled to 184. Shot from the south of the Namie-Futaba border, the green area is the temporary storage for decontamination waste, and in the background is the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant. The area we're standing in right now is a difficult-to-return zone. All anyone can see from this spot is slated to become an intermediate storage facility, where decontamination waste amounting to 84.6 hectares will be kept for 30 years. Currently, former residents of Namie, not including residents of the difficult-to-return zones, are permitted to stay in their homes for short periods of time in preparation of returning to the town on the April 2017 date.
This is the center of the town Namie, which is a zone in which the evacuation order will be lifted on 2017, March 31st. In this area, the infrastructure maintenance, such as water supplies, sewers, electrical grids, roads, and so on, has progressed. And they've started pulling down houses which have fallen into decay. At this point, a temporary shopping center, and a convenience store provide food for the whole town. Here is a memoir written by a former resident of Namie. 2017 January. There was an announcement about a part of Namie, zone in preparation for the lifting of the evacuation order, will lift the order in the newspaper. Although I had mixed feelings, I read it with a smile. 2 years ago, I read a blog written by a man who lived in Namie. I'm guessing that he is around my father's age. He said, "Almost every day I visit my house in Nanae from Fukushima City, where I evacuated, and take care of the trees in the garden and clean my house. Driving the distance every day back and forth makes me exhausted. However, at this point, 2015, the Namie residents weren't allowed to stay in their home yet." In 2016 September, that changed, by the way. When I read the news, I could imagine bright smiles of those people who so badly wanted to return. Of course, this is only part of the town, and it's uncertain whether the returning residents will be able to make a living as they used to before the disaster. There are lots of realistic and severe problems waiting for them, but still I can say that this is surely one step forward. I too was born in Namie, and except for the 4 years I attended a university in Sendai, I lived in Namie until I married my husband and moved to Nihonmatsu City. When the earthquake and tsunami hit Tohoku area, my oldest daughter was 4 years old and she was about to enter kindergarten. I was pregnant with second daughter, which added anxiety of course, but I mainly collected the information from only the local government and listened to people whom I trusted. And I learned the important knowledge that enabled me to continue to live where I live to this day. To be honest with you, I partially remember the days directly after the earthquake, but there are many parts I can't recall, and I feel that my memories have broken into pieces and spread everywhere. Because of that, when I filled out the Fukushima Health Management Survey, I needed to review my tweets on Twitter to recall what I was doing during that time. I'd rather not remember those memories. I avoid watching news footage of that time as much as I can. Right after the disaster, there was always an L-shaped news flash on the TV monitor, regardless the program, even during anime for kids. I could not take a break and always had tension. It was very harsh on my mind and body. In my case, although I kept an emergency packed suitcase at the front door for a while, gradually and fortunately we settled down. And after 2013, when we could see more data about the radiation dose of the living places, we are relieved and continue to live there. Around my house, the site hasn't changed much since the disaster. Major differences are the temporary houses that were built for the evacuees. My father lived in one of them. After the disaster, both my grandma and mom passed away at the temporary house. Only my father could receive the news of the lifting the evacuation order. I was so relieved that my father could hear this while still healthy. As a daughter, I have been worried to hear about how much he missed the place, which I totally understood. Also, I've been dealing with ambiguous emotions because I can't go back to hometown when I want to without permission. When I get tired, I wish I could stand in my hometown and feel the wind and smell the nostalgic gentle smell. I want to do so without any worry. That has been my continuing hope. My most favorite place, Ukedo District, Namie, got damaged by the tsunami and looks completely different now. But there is still ocean. There is a festival named Amba Matsuri to pray for a big catch and sea security for the year. In addition, there are magnificent mountains in Namie. I naturally cultivated a love and gratitude for the ocean and the mountains while I grew up around them. It is not just an ethical responsibility to the place I grew up. I truly love my hometown Namie. I clearly realized that after the disaster. Every day after the earthquake and tsunami, I've also understood that my emotional need to return home isn't just nostalgia. Rather, I think that to love the place where I was born and raised and made precious memories is equal to love my own life and myself. I guess that there will be more difficulties in future, but I don't want to be desperate. I'll keep asking myself what I can do and keep moving forward little by little. These are just my thoughts. I'm one of the 1,900,000 people of Fukushima. I believe that each one has their own thoughts